Hello, people, all you inspirational chefs and culinary people out there. So, tonight I am doing something very special. We're going to be doing abalone. You know what abalone is? Uh, Thank you. My good friend Paul left me some abalone, and I've been dying to try it. So, today I'm doing this menu. So, abalone is what I'm doing. This one is it's out of the can. So it is a chili abalone in a brine. And the brine's just that salty sort of marinade that you can put things into. So abalone is very expensive. So abalone is, it's a rare seafood. It's kind of a mollusk from the mollusk family, has a shell, lives and eats on seaweed. And depending on who you are, there is about 40 years of debate on how to make abalone, how to catch it, how to cut it, how to clean it. I have short circuited all that because mine's out of a can, so I'm cheating a little bit here. So what I have done is I've actually put it in a marinade, and the marinade was pretty simple. It was rice vinegar, see that, little boom soy sauce, and then I didn't have cornstarch, so I used a little tempura batter. Normally calls for cornstarch. So I am just going to do that. And then as a bonus, I have tempura prawns I'm going to do in the air fryer. So little air fryer. So let's do those first. So the air fryer is pretty simple. All I'm going to do is I'm going to just throw some olive oil over these guys here. You see that? Just putting some olive oil over that. And then I'm going to throw those into the air fryer here using my New Wave air fryer. I have two of them, but I like the New Wave. So I'm just going to put those on, hit start on those, turn them on, and then hit start. And those are probably 10 to 15 minutes. Got to watch and make sure that they don't do. So back to the abalone. So they come in different sizes depending on the shell that come in, that they come in when you catch them. For all the seafood experts out there. So the size that I have today is about this size here. So you can kind of see that. So it's probably a little bit on the small side. So what I am doing with this one here, just to make it a little bit more simple, because I'm just doing a stir fry, I'm going to cut these in little slices because I'm not going to cook them a long time. I'm also doing these in a shiitake mushroom. You guys like shiitake mushrooms? So I'm just cutting those up. You can kind of see. So after I cut them up, they're pretty simple. Put them in the little marinade batter that I made or sauce that I made, and just let them sit. I also threw some wine in there. So you can throw that in there because that gives it a little bit more taste. Abalone is not something you want to cook a long time because if you cook it too long, it becomes kind of chewy. So it's pretty easy to overcook it. And so you don't want to do that. So I'm just cutting these guys up. I got my wok heating up over here to the left of me because I can feel the heat coming in. So my lesson, the inspirational lesson to this is some things in life are rare. Some of you have some very rare gifts, talents, and ability. Used to be a guy named Bobby McFerrin. I don't know if you remember him, but this guy was amazingly talented, had a rare gift. He could use his voice to make all of these different musical sounds without an instrument. He did the song Be Happy. You should Google it up. Another guy that had a rare gift was Kevin Winslow. And he played in the Police Academy movies, and he could do ventriloquism with his voice. So those are rare gifts. So sometimes it's good to think about, what is your rare gift? What is the distinctive and unique thing that you offer to a conversation, to an opportunity, to business? Because rare gifts don't come along. It's kind of like this abalone. You can't just go get this in the store. It's a very expensive thing. I'm thankful for my buddy who left this, but this can run anywhere from $60 to $70 a can. And when it gets bigger in size, they can be up to $150 per abalone. So it's a pretty expensive sort of proposition for cooking. So I don't want to mess it up, right? I want to make sure I get it kind of right. Like I said, it's pretty simple. So what I've got here is I've got the marinade and with the mushrooms that I mentioned, and then I just cut up the abalone here. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw it into the, let me add a few more things here. I'm going to throw a few green peppers because I like, green onions because I like green onions with everything. So I'm just going to take some green onions. I'm going to cut those up because I think the green onions add a little color to it. And I'm just going to chop those up. And then I'm going to throw those in there first. You hear those going on. There you go. Oops. So I'm going to throw those in there just so they can kind of start the party. And then, I've been doing this so much, people actually think I'm in the restaurant business, which I think is a nice compliment. And then, of course, everything goes better with garlic, right? So throw a little garlic in there. A little garlic. Right? And just let that, kind of get going. I got it on medium temperature. So, I'm using a wok, a seasoned wok. You can use a level, you want to use a level frying pan. Heavy cast iron can work, but you got to really watch it so that you don't overcook it. Because again, this is a saute. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can steam it. You can boil it. A lot of people do porridge is another one. Maybe I'll try that on another show. But this one is just simply, we're just going to do this as a marinade. So I'm just going to take and put that in there, like here. Throw that in there with the mushrooms. And just let it kind of do its little thing there. And then we're going to saute that around a little bit. I'm going to grab a little more pepper and salt on it just to make sure it's got a little bit extra. Where's my salt? There we go. So throw a little bit more salt on here. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. And then I'm going to do it with some mushrooms. With some pasta. So I've got some fresh linguine pasta that I'm going to throw in on top of that. So I'm going to have to turn up my heat a little bit because it didn't really cook that. I turned it down because I didn't want it to really overheat. So you just want to kind of just keep turning that. When you slice them, you're going to cook them at a shorter term. So when they're whole, you cook them longer. When they're sliced, you cook them short. You can also do them in a shell. There are Taylor Shellfish Company does them in a shell, so you can do that in a shell. But it's really about enjoying the rarity. It's just a delicacy. Everybody's probably not going to like it. It has a very distinctive taste to it. But it's really good. It's got a good flavor. And when it's done in the brine, like with the can, it's already softened up because part of the deal apparently with abalone is you got to get it where it's soft. So some people use the brine, they use a marinade, they'll use steamers to just get it soft. And then you want to do your cooking with it. Some people will do it in a broth, right? I'm not doing that in that. I just did mine kind of in a marinade. So I'm just kind of stirring it around, letting it do its thing. Give it a little bit more heat underneath it. To really get it, I'm going to throw a little bit more pepper on there. At the pepper. So, I've learned one thing about, preparing stuff and cooking. It's really about experimenting. You'll do some things right. You'll do some things wrong. And that's okay. Just learn not to do that, make that mistake again. And so we'll just do that for a few minutes. It's pretty easy. You can kind of just see it. Wish I had smell-o-vision because it's like really going on. And once it's done, then I'm going to throw that over the top of my pasta. And then that really is. And I'm going to serve it up. I got my plate over here already. I'm going to throw the abalone in there and then put the pasta on top. So it's pretty easy. But again, it's the main ingredient, right? As we talk about, the whole show is about inspirational ingredients for the soul. So when you're in the kitchen, you really sometimes it's good to try inspirational ingredients. Just try something different. You could add, I didn't do it today, but you could add like bamboo shoots in it, ginger. There's a couple things you can do. So just part of it is just like one, to your taste, and two, to the taste of the guest that you're going to be serving to. But again, life is about, sometimes you get those special ingredients, right? My doctor is offering special ingredients right now, this thing called regenerative health, where he's actually reversing the curve. Shout out to Luke if you're watching this video. He watches a lot of my videos. Luke Marinkovich, he's my personal trainer, and sort of reversing the curve and doing some very special and rare things that you can do no matter what age you are. If you're 20, if you're 30, if you're 40, hey, you want to try to kind of do those different things and get yourself, healthy. And that's rare because the culture says you just have to age and you just have to live with it, take some ibuprofen and deal with it. But I've learned you don't have to live with that. So same thing, just enjoy some special things and rare ingredients. And it's just, it's really looking good here. I'm just going to do it for a few more minutes. And then all I'm going to do is just really take my pasta, which is almost done here because I was cooking that a little bit ahead of time. And then we're just going to serve it up. And then that's really it. A really high-end meal. If you were to go to a restaurant and you say, hey, give me some abalone sauteed with some fresh linguine on tomatoes and some Thai basil with a little lime on it, okay, they do it. But your bill's probably going to be about $150 when you get done, just because it's rare. And you know why it's rare? Because of the preparation, because they live toward the bottom of the ocean, so they're not easy to get. And then you got a big shell. I wish I had a picture, but they come in a big shell that's kind of like an oyster where you have to open them up. Then you got to clean it. You got to separate the stomach from the meat. And then you end up with what I demonstrated you here. It's just kind of like the remaining pieces of it. And you just kind of cook it and do it. And then, boom, get a meal. So I love this kind of stuff. Cooking to me really is a hobby. At some point I may buy a restaurant and just, for some people to do it. But it complements my business of housing, real estate, inspiration, motivation, and those kinds of things to do. So enjoy it, try it, experiment it. If you burn it, if you mess up, as Anthony Bourdain used to say, it'll teach you a lesson not to do it again. So I hope you enjoy just trying it. I think the most place you can go find it is in Seattle area where I'm doing the show is Amajawaya, and in any kind of Asian restaurants. And if you can't, even I tried to order this on Amazon, they don't even have it. So it is a rare thing to try to get, but it is tasty. It is tasty. It is tasty. So there you go. We're doing a little bit. So if you want to see what the final product is, I've plated it up and then I'll put it on Instagram. So if you go to @TheLewisHoward at Instagram, you'll get me, and then you'll see what the final look. By the way, let's check on our tempura here before I get off. Oh yeah. So tempura is coming along fine, just with a little oil. Normally tempura is deep fried, just to give you that little tip. But I'm trying to live healthier these days. So for me, mine is actually air fried. So try air fried. I've got one post on air fried chicken. If you kind of like that, you can kind of check that out. But air fried is healthier. I grew up in the South, so I understand there's two kinds of food in the South, fried and deep fried. So try it. Try learning air fry. Like I say, you can see I got two bad monsters over here. They're both good. I can do fried chicken. I can do fish. I can do shrimp. I can do pretty much anything on those things, right? I may try abalone in the air fry as soon as I get comfortable in it. But there you go. So it is pretty much good. And then we're just going to plate it off here over on the plate. Boom. And that's really it. I'm going to throw probably a little bit more seasoning on there, but you got a nice presentation. And then again, I'm going to add the pasta. It's got a couple more minutes to it. But there you go. Sauteed shiitake mushrooms, abalone. Get you some of that. It's good. It's worth it. I appreciate you all. My name is Lewis Howard, and I love to inspire people.